Flare by Mary Oliver. Welcome to the silly, comforting poem. It is not the sunrise, which is in a red rinse, which is flaring all over the eastern sky. It is not the rain that is falling out of the purse of the god. It is not the blue helmet of the blue sky afterwards, or the trees, or the beetle burrowing into the earth. It is not the mockingbird who, in his own cadence, will go on sizzling and clapping from the branches of the catalpa that are thick with blossoms, that are billowing and shining, that are shaking in the wind. You still recall sometimes the old barn of your great-grandfather, place you visited once and went into all alone while the grown-ups sat and talked in the house. It was empty, or almost. Wisps of hay covered the floor, and some wasps sang at the windows. And maybe there was a strange fluttering bird high above, disturbed, hooing a little and staring down from a messy ledge with the wild binocular eyes. Mostly though, it smelled of milk and patience of animals. The give-offs of the body was still in the air, a vague ammonia, not unpleasant. Mostly though, it was restful and secret. The roof high up, arched, the boards unpainted and plain. You could have stayed there forever, a small child in the corner, on the last draft of hay, dazzled by so much space that seemed empty, but wasn't. Then you still remember. You felt a rapture of hunger. It was noon, and you turned from that twilight dream and went back to the house, where their table was set, where there was an uncle who patted you on the shoulder to welcome, and there was your place at the table. Nothing lasts. There is a graveyard where everything I'm talking about is. I stood there once, on the green grass, scattering flowers. Nothing is so delicate or so finely hinged as the wings of a green moth. Against the lantern, against its heat, against the beak of a crow early in the morning. Yet the moth has a trim, a feistiness, and not a drop of self-pity. Not in this world. My mother was the blue wisteria. My mother was the mossy stream out behind the house. My mother, alas, alas, she not always loved her life. Heavier than iron it was, as she carried it from one room to another. Unforgettable. I bury her in a box in the earth and turn away. My father was a demon of frustrated dreams, was a breaker of trust, was a poor thin boy with a bad luck. He followed God, there being no one else he could talk to. He swaggered before God, there being no one who would listen. listen, this was his life. I bury it in the earth. I sweep the closets. I leave the house. I mention them now, and I will not mention them again. It is not the lack of love, nor lack of sorrow, that the iron thing they carry, I will not carry. I give them 1, 2, 3, 4 kisses of courtesy, of the sweet thanks, of the anger, of good luck. In the deep earth, may they sleep well, may they soften. But I will not give them the kiss of complicity. I will not give them the responsibility for my life. Did you know that the ant has a tongue with which to gather in all that it can of sweetness? Did you know that? The poem is not the world. It isn't even the first page of the world. But the poem wants to flower like a flower. It knows that much. It wants to open itself like a door of a little temple, so that you might step inside of it and be cooled and refreshed by it, and less yourself than part of everything. The voice of a child crying out of a mouth of a grown woman is a misery and disappointment. The voice of a child howling out of a tall, bearded, masculine man is misery and terror. Therefore tell me, what will engage you? What will open you up? What will open the dark fields of your mind like a lover at first touching? Anyway, there was no barn, no child in the barn, no uncle, no table, no kitchen. Only a long, lovely field of bulbulings. When loneliness comes stalking, go into the fields. Consider the orderliness of the world. Notice something you haven't noticed before, like a tambourine sound of the snow cricket, whose pale green body is no longer than your thumb. Stare hard at the hummingbird in the summer rain, shaking the water sparks from its wings. Let grief be your sister. She will, whether or no, rise up from the stump of sorrow and be green also, like the diligent leaves. A lifetime isn't long enough for the beauty of this world or the responsibilities of your life. Scatter your flowers over the graves and walk away. Be good-natured and untidy in your exuberance. In the glare of your mind, be modest and beholden what is tactile and thrilling. Live with the beetle and the wind. This is the dark bread of the poem. This is the dark, nourishing bread of the poem. This is the dark and nourishing bread of the poem. Within this course, we have collected several poems from well-known poets that you can find and you can be welcomed by in any place that you find yourself in. And this poem is asking you, what will open the dark corners of your mind? What will engage you? So what will it be? How will you show up in your life? How will you live with the beetle and the wind?